There is a specific kind of silence that follows when you've finished solving everyone else's problems. It's not the silence of peace, but the silence of being the only person in the room with no one to lean on. Most people see strength as a solid wall, but from the inside, it feels more like a bridge. A bridge doesn't exist for itself. It only exists to carry the weight of everything crossing over it. You've likely noticed that the better you are at holding things together, the less people ask if you're falling apart. You've become so efficient at managing the emotional climate of the room that your own weather has become invisible. The core insight we often miss is that being the strong one isn't a personality trait. It's often a sophisticated survival strategy. We've traded our right to be vulnerable for the safety of being indispensable. We solve, we listen, and we stabilize, because we've learned that as long as we are useful, we are secure. But there is a hidden cost to being the person who never breaks. But what happens to a nervous system that is always the stabilizer and never the stabilized? To understand why your mind refuses to let you rest, we have to look at the invisible architecture of how you were built. Psychologists often refer to this as parentification of the self, or more specifically, the development of a compulsive caregiver script. It's a mechanism where your self-worth becomes entirely fused with your utility. You don't just feel like you should help, you feel like you must help to remain valid in the social fabric. This isn't just kindness, it's a cognitive load. Research into empathy distress fatigue shows that those who act as the emotional anchor for others often experience a physiological mutedness in their own emotions, a state where the brain deprioritizes your own feelings to keep the radar clear for everyone else's signals. Think about the last time someone asked how you were doing. You probably paused for a microsecond, scanned your internal landscape, found a dozen fractures, and then, almost reflexively, offered a polished, "I'm good, just busy." You didn't do it to be dishonest. You did it because your mind calculated that expressing your own weight would complicate the conversation. You've become an expert at emotional editing, cutting out your own needs in the final draft so the story of the people around you can stay cohesive. This creates a profound psychological distance. When you are always the one who understands, you subconsciously start to believe that you are beyond needing understanding yourself. You become a spectator of support rather than a participant in it. You provide the shelter, but you never walk through the door. We see this play out in what we might call the midnight architect syndrome. These are the people who stay up long after the world has gone quiet, finally feeling a sense of relief because, for the first time in 16 hours, no one is asking for their perspective. It's the indoor explorer who knows every corner of their friend's psyche but remains a stranger to their own. You might notice this in your own life as a tendency to over-prepare for social interactions. You don't just go to a dinner. You prepare to be the emotional glue that keeps the conversation from dipping into awkwardness. You've become so vital to the structure of your social circle that your absence would cause the roof to sag, and that responsibility is heavy. Biologically, this constant state of reading the room keeps your nervous system in a state of high-toned sympathetic arousal. You are essentially living in a state of social hypervigilance. Your brain's anterior cingulate cortex, the area responsible for detecting social conflict and error, is constantly firing. It's like keeping a high-performance engine idling at the red line. You aren't calm, you are just controlled. This chronic state of alertness eventually leads to adaptive desensitization. Your body starts to dull its own pain signals so that you can keep focusing on the needs of the tribe. But here is the punchy truth that most self-help books won't tell you. Your selflessness might actually be a form of control. By being the one who always helps, you ensure that you are never the one who is vulnerable. If you are always the fixer, you never have to be the broken, one who has to trust someone else to do the fixing. We use our strength as a shield to keep people at arm's length. We give and give, not just to be kind, but to avoid the terrifying uncertainty of being seen in our own mess. In relationships, this creates a transactional paradox. You feel resentful that no one supports you, yet you've unintentionally trained everyone in your life that you don't need it. You've built a pedestal, and now you're lonely because the view from the top is isolated. You've taught people to love your strength, but you've hidden the parts of you that are actually capable of being loved. If you feel a strange sense of guilt right now, like you've been caught in a secret, know that this is the first step toward reclaiming your energy. You aren't fake for wearing the mask of the strong friend. You are simply tired of being the only one holding the map. It is a profound, silent grief to realize that you have become invisible behind your own competence. You've spent so much time being the safe harbor for everyone else that you've forgotten what it feels like to have a place to dock your own ship. Notice the recurring pattern in your life. The more you do, the more is expected. This is what behavioral scientists call the competence trap. Research into social reciprocity suggests that when we never show our cracks, we inadvertently signal to others that our resources are infinite. You have built a world where people don't check on you, not because they don't care, but because you've made it look like you don't need them to. You are trapped in a loop of being too capable to be helped. The shift begins when you realize that no is not a rejection of others, but a protection of your own capacity. You don't have to become someone who doesn't care. You just have to become someone who cares enough about themselves to set a boundary. True strength isn't being a wall that never cracks. It's being human enough to let someone else hold the weight for a while. You'll find that when you stop performing your strength, you finally allow the right people to love your soul instead of just your utility. Healing from being the strong one means rediscovering the art of being soft. If this felt like a mirror to your own life, you're in the right place. We explore these quiet corners of the mind every week. Consider joining us, because sometimes the person who takes care of everyone else needs a space where they can finally be taken care of, too. Leave a comment with a time you finally chose yourself. Your story might be the permission someone else is waiting for.